So I got the windshield wiper wires tied back in. I went ahead and ran this harness. I just unpinned it for the taillights and stuff. Unpinned it, ran it through a little grommet on the firewall. So I'm gonna delete those other holes. They're gonna weld them up, or I don't know, put some kind of plate in front of it or something like that. Some kind of paint max plate, I'm not sure yet. But I got some wrap from Amazon. Gonna attempt to throw it on that harness right there, the big harness, and tape it up so it'll look a little bit better. Using some of this tested tape, friction tape, whatever you want to call it, but that is the plan right now. This is kind of an unexpected thing. I was thinking about this whole thing. I'm pretty sure my wife said something about it, but she said like she didn't. I don't know. But that fuse box on top of there, that thing sits up, you know, pretty. I had to have the kind of center console level with the top of this seat right here. So, I'm thinking about it and thinking if I can figure out a way to make it shorter. So it's gonna be real tight, but if I take this fuse box, I've got a new bracket probably. I had a hard time building that one, but they'll do it right the first time. I had to redo it, but I cut that bracket down. Still got some room in here. So I mean, if I cut that bracket down and maybe even shave the bottom plastic of that off, or cut it off, plastic weld it back together. I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet, honestly, but I have about 4.5 inches right here of height. So I could put that in there under the seat, which it'd still be easily accessible, but then you'd have this right here to be shorter. So I could put kind of like a raised tunnel's all it'd be really. And where you can still put your feet on it, it'd be covering the PCM and stuff. Make it easily removable where I could unbolt it from here. But you'd be able to sit in the middle seat and not have to hang your feet over here, or like have to, I don't know, sit with your feet above the radio. That would be pretty uncomfortable. But that's what I'm thinking about doing right now. Still got to do some double checking some measurements, and got to extend a couple of wires with this. I think it's a fuel pump power wire. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, but I have to extend that about 6 inches or so. But I have plenty of wire from the main harness that I extended. Plenty of wire there, so that'll pull all the way in here. But sitting like this, I can cut a groove or something. Get the flashlight on real quick. That's a little better. So I can go under here. I can't see there's so many dead gum wires, but I can go through here and drill the hole, put a grommet, something, maybe even just put a little channel in it where all these wires will run under that. Because I don't want to be pulling this seat out, the seat bracket out, or the fuse box out, but it would be nice to be able to pull the seat bracket out if I need to without having to mess with any of the wiring. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Yeah, I'm just kind of spitballing ideas right now. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Because like I said, if I can get it level with this seat frame right here, that'd be pretty good, I think. And it wouldn't be that high. It'd be, you can put your feet up there, it wouldn't be uncomfortable, I don't think. Especially for a kid or something. I'm gonna keep on finagling with this a little bit. Still on test fitting stuff. Had a bunch of wires, all the headlight wires were getting in the way, so I had to cut them off. So I gotta build a new harness anyway. I don't have to, but I'm gonna build a new harness that goes in the engine bay, and it's kind of halfway tucked, so there's not wires all over the fenders, but so that'll free up this section right here where it's not pulling all the time. So I can get that over there. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here. I'm not really sure the best way to do it, but get that, pull it that way. It'll run beside, on this side right here of the PCM. I get a hole saw, and kind of just chew out a spot right there. There's a gap under there already, so I can chew out a little spot right there maybe. I might have to reinforce it or something just to make sure that the frame's still solid, but trim that out, and then this right here, and just jumble a mess of wire right up under it. I guess the headlight harness will too, the new headlight harness. But that's what I'm thinking right now anyway. I'll get that new headlight harness, run it through here, go right here with the engine harness. And go up here, which is just kind of a mess up here because all the hoses and stuff, but run back from up here where the wires go, run through here maybe, kind of tuck it in there, hide it behind the, right here where there's hose door or something like that, with a black loom on it, won't be that noticeable. Then I can branch it off and maybe run, maybe in front of the radiator, kind of tuck it up high, and you won't see any of that. I mean, it's gonna have tubs in it, the paint and stuff, so I want all that to be clean, and I'm probably gonna redo all this crap right here too, because this is just too much going on. I'll probably relocate this relay, or not relay, but it's like a breaker pretty much. This breaker, put it in the inside, probably close to the fuse box, wherever I move it to. But I might keep this right here on the fin right here by the battery. If I'm still debating on mounting the battery up here or in a toolbox. A lot of rambling, a lot of thinking. Just want to do it the best way I can. I mean, if I put the battery up here, it's factory location. I can run wires, all my wires, main wires already ran up here, so I can run one wire back to the fuse box, which won't be that bad. But if I run, so I mount it back in the tool box in the bed, I have to drill holes in the toolbox and run holes, you know, run wire through here or underneath it somehow, and then run it all the way up under here. So I don't know. I don't know. So I'm building a new battery tray right here. Build a new battery tray, and kind of have it just kind of maybe have a cover over it where it's not as bad looking. That might make it look better. I don't know. I might get the tubs put in before I even start messing with the battery, honestly. That'd be a smart way to do it, just see what it would look like, get a better idea of how much room I have to work with. That's a little ways in the future, but we'll keep on messing with this for a little bit. Alright, so right here in this closest salvage yard to me, I found this beautiful specimen right here. So, found me a high hump, which I don't need this part. I just made a, I'm just gonna build a plate to cover that hole right there because I don't need that hole necessarily. But that high hump right there, I can get carpet, I can get factory style carpet that'll be higher right here, so it'll cover it. It won't look out of place. And it also follows the transmission tunnel, factory transmission tunnel, so I don't have to build anything. And it should be wide enough for the computer to fit down here. But even if it doesn't fit, I mean, there's plenty of room to modify that to make it a little bit wider. So I think that's gonna be the best bet. It's gonna be the best bet as far as the fastest thing to build and to use for hiding the PCM. So pull it out real quick. We'll talk to Mike about it. The wiring is obviously a mess right now, but you can kind of get the idea here. So I got this piece right here that it's like a 93, probably like a 93 F350, something like that. But they have a high hump, what they call a high hump transmission tunnel. So this one here's a low hump. It's just a half ton. It had a 300 straight six, like maybe a AOD or something. I don't know about 4 transmissions, but had that in there. So it had a small, like I said, the low transmission hump. This right here, that had a 7.3 IDI in it. That truck did. But the standard, that's what that holds for, the standard transmission. So that right there, it's not tall enough right now, as you can see. I mean, I'm going to need to add some to it, but you can see it conforms to the transmission tunnel. And I mean, I can drill some holes, throw some rib nuts in around here, use these holes, boom. I got that to mount. So all I have to do is just maybe extend. I have to, see it's kind of probably way too short over here on this side. So I'll probably have to, end up just raising this part, coming straight up like this right here where it's flat. And then just bring this end up. That's probably what I end up doing. Yeah, I'll probably cut it right here. Flip it up. We're gonna leave those ridges right there. And then just put a vertical piece right here and kind of try to roll it over. But yeah, that should work pretty good, I think. May have to knock some stuff out to get the wires through and all that good jazz, but overall I think it should work fine. So I do a lot of measuring, cutting, and moving around stuff, but it's a lot easier than building a whole, having to build this whole thing from nothing. Should be a step ahead. I paid 20 bucks for this plate right here and it took me probably 15 minutes to take it out. So I mean, didn't lose much there. But yeah, now that I got this, I can buy the carpet and the cabs are the same from like a F-150, F-250, 350, whatever from this body style. So I can get this in here, buy the high hump carpet, and it should just go right in here, no problem at all now. So you want to be able to see the computer, which I've been thinking a little bit. I'm not sure about the heat. I need some heat dissipation there. I'm not really sure how hot a computer gets. I think it'd probably be fine when they're usually in the engine bay on the factory trucks, on the factory Chevrolets. So I do some thinking on that. I end up putting some vents on the side here or something like that just to keep it ventilated, but definitely a step in the right direction. So do some measuring a little bit, just see what all we need to do to that, make it fit good. So did some quick measurements. So this computer's quite a bit taller than the cover right here. So computer from the floor, which I could make it maybe just a little bit lower. Depending on how much room I have between here, I could knock that flat maybe and make it a little bit lower, but that's about 3.5 inches from the floor. Something like that, 3.5 inches. Whereas the spot right here I was talking about going is about 3 inches tall, probably right here. So I have to cut it back like here somewhere, probably. Cut it way back here, then flip it up and make it. It was just one big box, pretty much is all I have to do. I might taper it down a little bit because on the back right here it's a little bit short, but not much. But the width on it, the computer's about 9 wide, something like that. Yeah, it's about 9 wide. This right here is about 9.5 wide, so it's pretty good width. I think it'll work all right. But yeah, I got that now, so that's a step in the right direction, I think. It'll be a whole lot easier than having to fabricate the whole thing. Realistically, I could probably scoot this up. I can scoot that up a little bit further right there. And that would be 4 inches right there, but right there. I mean, I gotta add something to it either way. There's no way around not adding anything to it, but it'll be easier than building one from scratch, I think. So I mentioned previously that I couldn't fit the wiring harness under the seat bracket. So I got I believe it was a 2 inch, either 2 or 2 1/8 inch hole saw, and cut a groove out right there. That was just to fit the main wiring harness under there and the LS harness. So got that cut out. Had to use a sawzall to finish up the edges, make it a little more square on the bottom side. After cutting that notch and cleaning up a little bit with the sawzall, I want to go ahead and unbolt the seat frame. So I had to unbolt the whole thing, pull all 4 bolts out just so I could pick it up enough to get that fuse box under it. That was the only way to do it. I thought about trying to tilt it back, but there wasn't enough room to move it around with those brackets, so just had to pull it out and slide everything up under it, make sure it fit. And the hole was kind of tight. The groove I cut out was a little smaller than it should have been probably, but it was big enough for doing some test fitting. Actually was able to clean it up a little more when I pulled the seat out, paint it later on. So it should work pretty good. I got the fuse box and the wiring slid under there. I went ahead and put some bolts back in there to keep it in one place while I was test fitting. Alright, so as bad as it sucked, I had to cut these feet off of the fuse box bracket. Got it sitting down here. I'm going to have to cut another 3/4 of an inch off there. You see there's a little bit of room in there. Make it sit flush with this. Cut about 3/4 of an inch off. I can bolt that to the floor. I'm trying to make a bracket for that too. That'll sit flush under there. Be hidden, be out of the way. I got this marked up. I gotta cut this all the way out. I'm just gonna flip this up like that. And the wire run under here. Computer be under here. I got this marked up right here. I can cut this out, the section out, and raise it all up a little bit. The computer, and the big wiring harness, and the wiring harness for the gauges will run through here. I'm gonna cut that out and raise it up also. Yep, a little bit of progress. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit surely. Get all this crap done. I went ahead and pulled the passenger seat out because it was in the way, and it wasn't going to interfere with the cover anyway for the computer, so I might as well just leave that out, get out of the way, use the work on stuff. Hopefully the lighting isn't terrible, the sun shining in, but I got it all marked up. The plan is to kind of cut this off. I got to pop it up because the computer's about 3.5, 4 inches tall. Got to pull this whole thing up and pop it up pretty much, make it flat right here. So I got to cut these lines right here. I marked it right there. I'm trying to cut this section out and keep it kind of like a flange and just move it over because the computer's a little wider than this. So I'll move that whole flange over, and then I'll get some metal and match that up, put it back in there. So that's the plan. Get to cutting and see what we got. So this whole time-lapse section is the first rendition of the high hump I had built. I probably spent somewhere between 4 and 7 hours building this deadgum thing. And then I finally got it thrown in the truck, did some test fitting, and the computer fit in there fine, but the wiring I needed to hide didn't quite fit in there. So I ended up having to cut the whole thing back apart pretty much. Wasted a lot of time on it, but it is what it is. But I was able to fix it up later on and get it to work like I wanted to. I gotta be honest, that sucked a lot. I mean, that was a lot of welding, I guess. It took a lot longer than I thought it would take, but pretty much done now. So you see right here, I was doing that little measuring earlier. Somewhere here I gotta cut a hole. That's where the main wiring harness that I extended is gonna run through here. And kind of beside the computer is gonna be kind of this side. It's gonna run beside the computer and then come out here and then go under the jump seat. That's the plan right now. And then that piece right there I had to cut out. I might clean it up a little bit, but that's what I had to cut out for the bracket, the jump seat also. So yeah, I added about like 3.5 inches to it, something like that. So I got it all, almost pretty much all of it welded up. There's a lot of welding, but try to see this computer under here, you can see what I'm talking about. All this crap out of one. There's a PCM 0411, pretty generic LS PCM. There's on top of there. Already bolted the transmission tunnel. I'll try to bring the camera inside so you can see what I'm talking about. You see under there, PCM's under there, and the wires are run. Probably shifted as far over as I can, I guess. And the wires will run to this open spot right here, and then go out the back towards the jump seat. I still have to do something right here in this area. What to do, either just cut a hole and leave it and just let it run under the carpet or something. I'm just debating on just doing that, just cutting a hole where the wire can run it kind of seamlessly under the carpet, and you won't be able to just, see a big lump maybe. So either doing that. But one of the problems is, I'd like to be able to take this cover off without having to mess with the wiring, so I'd have to cut this whole section out and the mounting bracket too, so might be a little difficult, which it really, I guess, all these bolts are going to locate it, so it shouldn't really matter, I guess. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I mean, it's not perfect, it ain't beautiful. I try to make it look good. This first corner looks pretty good, I feel like. First corner I did. So, I mean, that's all, that whole section right there is all new metal. Been it pretty good, but I started trying to reuse old metal and crap, and it ain't bad, I guess, but try to reuse, try to keep the bends, and trying to keep what goes to the base right there. I thought it'd be better looking. I just caused myself more work with it. I should have just made it all out of one new piece and it'd flow a lot better, but either way, split it together, and I'll probably fill that hole in right there. Maybe not, I don't know. It's gonna be under carpet, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in there, do a little test fit and see what it looks like. Alright, so I gotta put a hole right here. This is where the wire's gonna come through, the main wire harness to go to the seat. So I'm thinking I measured about that wide, a little bit wider than the actual hole is that the wires go through right now. And then it's about this size right here. Only needs to be 2 inches tall though from the floor. Maybe I might go up just a little bit, just to make sure I have plenty of clearance. But I got a mark. Go up I got a mark right here that I marked earlier. I'm gonna go up just a tiny bit. So but the goal is, I know where I need to be on this side. I'm gonna try to drill a pallet hole right there, a small bit. Put it right there, and then it's gonna be almost impossible because of the length of the other bit. So this bit right here is so short compared to the actual hole saw that it hits this right here before I can even get to that. So I'm thinking if I can drill a pilot hole right there, I can go from the other side, the inside maybe, with this. Sort of cut through this way, get a cleaner cut around here, and then if I need to, I can get the Sawzall or whatever, the grinder, and cut these little straight sections right here. So I'm gonna attempt to do that. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but never know till you try. Over here, drilled that small pilot hole about where I thought it should be, center of the circle would be. I was able to flip it over, kind of locate it, and drill it out with the actual hole saw. Worked pretty good, and it was a lot easier than going from the front side, having to worry about hitting that flange on the bottom of it. So it took a while. The drill bit was pretty dull, I guess, and trying to keep that thing from flipping around and hitting me was kind of difficult too. So, but I eventually got it cut out, or most of the way cut out, at least the circle part, as far as I could go. So it worked pretty good. Is that mark I had? Put a little bit above that. Go through the Sawzall. I'll square these cuts up, and that should be good. We'll just drop it down on top of there now. I don't say it's perfect, but it's pretty decent. I feel like pretty smooth. Probably some vacuum line or some kind of something to put on there for like a grommet so it doesn't rub that wire. But yeah, that worked out pretty good, surprisingly. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna clean these edges up a little bit. I should have just dropped this whole thing down, which this part up here is still gonna hit some wires, but at least I get a little bit better idea how this is gonna fit up on the bottom. What a pain. Yeah, that part there's hidden. Get that front to come down before I can do anything. I had to move the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about. Turn it a little bit too. So the wiring harness, the main wiring harness, this is going to follow it too, but the main wiring harness is going to come out around here somewhere up top. So I'm going to say around here, in between here and here, probably. Let's see. I think I can manipulate a little bit. Let's see, right there and there. So these are the marks I put in there in the truck. That's about where it's going to run. I'm going to get these lines. I might broaden it out just a little bit and put some straighter lines on there. Actually, get a ruler and line them up a little better. The marks I put on there is about it's close to 2 inches wide, so I keep that same gap through it. Keep that same trajectory, I guess. It's going like this right here. Go from right there, about right there. Push around that a little bit so it doesn't look too terrible. Obviously not going for the best looks, but I hate to do stuff halfway also. Let's see. It's a straight 2 inch will be plenty big enough. It should be. That's about what I measured, so should be good there. I'll drill a pallet hole about where I want it. That's not real tight, but it's probably tight enough. Pallet hole. Let's see what we can do. Pretty good, I guess. Alrighty. So that section's cut out. I can kind of make a groove right here. I can go ahead and do the use cutoff wheel, I guess. Attempt to anyway. That looks like crap, but whatever. Function over form, I guess, at this point. Maybe she'll fit. We will soon find out, I reckon. So I fought this thing for a pretty good while, at least 10 minutes. Messing around with it, trying to figure out what I could do, trying to mark it, see what was going on, what was hitting everything. Obviously, it's hitting the seat frame, pretty easy to see that. So I'm trying to mess with it for a while. I finally just came to grips with the fact that I was going to cut it up, which sucked because I spent probably 5 or 6 hours building that thing, extending it out, and it was hitting the seat, and it also wasn't wide enough. That's something I realized later also, because the wire beside it was hitting the computer. It wasn't all going to be tucked in there like I wanted it to be, so of course I had to cut the whole thing apart and cut half my work away. Working with some this morning. It was hitting the back here, so I went ahead and cut it off, and then still wasn't fitting quite right. Got pretty discouraged, so I figured I'd just dog off that one for a little bit. Started working on getting the actual fuse box mounted. So I couldn't, these right here lined up right here with just with those ridges, so I had to add this middle piece right here. Then put some rib nuts in the floor just a second ago. So bolt that down, hold the fuse box in place. Also had to cut off about 1/2 inch of this bracket right here, so it'll be a little shorter. I didn't really care about the welds, to be honest with you. It's plenty strong enough, and I'm tired of messing with it. So got that on there, and then the LS fuse box, a small one, was too low. It was hitting the floor, so I had to add this second piece right here. Had to move the bolts, had to move the holes over 1 inch and up 1/2 inch. So I got that bracket right there made, so now I can bolt down. I can bolt the fuse box down, or bolt the fuse box bracket down. You know, throw that on there. Then bolt the LS fuse box to it, and then get all that done. I can get this right here. This is the insert for it. I can get this measured. I got an idea when I need to cut it. It marked out, but I can get that insert measured out, make sure everything's right, and I can cut that out and I can drop it in too, and just make sure all that stuff fits also. So making a little bit of progress. I didn't even video any of the stuff with that thing because that sucker is whooping me, and getting a little irritated, not gonna lie, but I don't know if I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna have to figure something else out. Because this kind of sucks using the whole day of work to mess with that stupid thing, but I mean, it's part of it, I guess. It's part of building trucks, part of building custom crap, and also not knowing what you're doing, I guess. But I'll toss this stuff in real quick and get it bolted down, and just have a little bit of success for the day, hopefully. I don't know how much, but that is one system. I won't say done, but still build this whole headlight harness, or finish up the headlight harness and attach it all in here. But that's mounted, so that's one less thing to do now. So I guess what I'm going to do now is we're going to do the insert right now. I guess the smart thing to do would be make sure everything fits before I just start getting too excited. This thing will latch. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's got a little bit of give to it anyway if it needs to be. It didn't hit anything anyway. Alright. What I'm looking at is, easiest way I can see to measure this is you have these holes right here pretty small. They line up with these screw holes here. If I measure from those holes to all this stuff, then I can mark it off pretty easily. That's what I'm gonna do real quick. Got it cut down. I haven't really cleaned it up a whole lot. There's no point cleaning up if I know it doesn't. Not sure it doesn't fit. Pretty standard. I got it cut out. Haven't cleaned it up much just because there's no reason to clean it up if I don't know it fits for sure. Well. That ain't gonna go in there. I'll have to just gotta put that on the seat. I put it on the seat before you drop it in, so that's cool. Very nice. So got that mounted, that's pretty good. Got that mounted. Good to go there. I gotta pull the whole seat off to put that back in. So I don't see any point in doing that, pulling that off, putting that back on just to do a test fit like that. When I gotta pull it, I'm still gonna pull the seat off to dye it black anyway. So I'm just gonna hold off on that. I got it trimmed up pretty close to what it needs to be, I think. I'm gonna do some more measuring just to make sure it's, I don't have to cut any more. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait to put that back in whenever I pull this out to paint it or dye it, whatever you wanna call it. And I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do about this stupidity right here. I don't even know. Don't even know. As bad as it hurt me, I had to went and cut up some more. Figured I can either cry about it or I can just go ahead and do something about it. So obviously it wasn't gonna work the way it was. So I cut about 3 hours of work off this side. You gotta love that, but so I had to cut some more of this front end too. This front lip right here was hitting these wires. That's one of the spots it was hitting, was right here. It used to be, I cut off about ½ an inch right there, so it was hitting those wires. So that, got that out of the way. The dilemma now is to have enough room over here for that wire to run through there. I really need to figure out a better way to mount this computer, because the feet, the computer bracket, and they're right there under the mount for this. Also, this side, it was supposed to be 12 inches wide. That's what I wanted it to be, 12 inches wide. It was 12 inches wide at the, but I mean, it was part of it was 12 inches wide up here, and it tapered back real bad over here, so it was like 10.5. So that's also where it was hitting on this side. So that's why I measured everything. I just decided to just cut everything out on this whole side that I've done, that I did yesterday. So I'm just going to have to make a whole new piece. It'll probably look better, honestly. I'll probably try to do like a rolled edge, kind of like that is. I got a whole sheet of 18 gauge in there, so I can just roll that lip over right there. That'd be better. All right, here's the, I guess, improved computer bracket. It's not the old one, you know, it stuck out like that. So I had to move it. this right here, where it'll be under the one of the computers. It's not under the flange for the cover right there. So I'm gonna try to bolt this up and see how it fits now. So got the computer bracket problem solved. Just got the feet under it now instead of to the side of it. Just got to drill holes, but I want to make sure it wasn't going to interfere with any of the other holes I drilled in here already before I drilled the mounts for it. Drill the holes for the mounts. But yeah, this flange sitting pretty flat now. It's kind of warped a little bit on us, all this welding and cutting and stuff, but I may have had to trim a little more off of that. It's getting, I don't know, it's getting a little close to the wires. I want to have as much room as I can between those wires. I don't want those wires open for sure. And I may end up having to scoot this up a little bit because it needs to be about like that. The computer does too for that cover the center there. Small update. I got a few bolts in there, kind of held in place. Where it matches, you know, the contour it's supposed to. So I'm gonna, I guess, make some templates out and try to make it where I can cover this side right here up, fill that gap up, and build something right here. Hopefully it won't take as long as it did the other day. I'm gonna test fit the old box one more time. Make sure nothing's interfering that I haven't realized yet. I'm gonna pull this jump seat out, I guess. We got a few bolts thrown in there just to do a little more test fitting. Yep, that's gonna work pretty good, I think. What's up, guys and gals? I got the center console painted. I uploaded that video a couple hours ago. But I kind of want to throw it in, but that white on the floor ain't gonna work, so I'm gonna get in there, clean it up real good, wipe it down with some wax and grease remover, and throw some paint on it, so I don't have to pull the seats back out later on and paint it, because I'm not trying to do this crap twice. So I got it blown out, kind of. There's a bunch of metal shavings and stuff in here already, but got it blown out. I'm gonna wipe it down real good, wire wheel some stuff. I'm gonna pull the fuse box bracket off, so there's still just rough welds on there. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, go and throw some paint on it while I got it out. And I'll go ahead and pull a little of this harness over so it's out of the way so I can throw some paint under everything. Be done with all that crap. As far as I can put the center console in and hopefully not have to pull it back out for a while anyway. So there you go, about 5 minutes, got everything pulled out, unbolted, moved over. Ready to clean it up. We give that floor a little bit of time to dry, and the fuse box brackets just about dry. So I'm gonna start tossing stuff back in, I reckon. about to toss it back together, then I realized I still have to paint that computer bracket right there. So I'm gonna pull it off, scuff it, hit it real quick with the paint. Should be good. I got the wiring halfway tied it up, everything plugged in. Computer bracket is painted now. Mounted back in there. All that stuff's mounted up. There's a couple wires that are just kind of loose in here, but I'll talk about those later. But I can get to those with the seat on there. So I'm gonna attempt to throw the seat in here, and hopefully all the cuts I made will clear fuse box everything. We will soon find out. Got to put in there. I had some issues with the latch. For some reason on this plastic piece is a separate piece right here on the bottom. I guess it wouldn't line up quite right or something. I had to adjust it, but put that back on there. So now you can see regular center console, armrest, whatever. Flip up for a jump seat. If you have a problem with the fuses or something like that, boom, you got the fuse box, forward fuse box and the LS fuse box right there underneath. Just got to connect those two red wires to the constant hot and run a new constant hot wire from the battery whenever I decide where I'm going to mount it. But a little bit of room back there, and flip it open. Easy access to everything. That's why I wanted to do it, so I don't have to be in here very often, but if I do have to be in there, at least I can get to it pretty easily. Alright, so the other day, got this harness right here, so I have the new headlight harness. I'm still got to build the other end of it over there, but got this new headlight harness. I ran an extra wire for if I wanted to have anything else positive up front, running some lights or something like that. And I got the factory yellow wire for the main power to the fuse box. So looking at it, I think I should be able to snake it through here. Unraveled here, and I got a lot of excess wire obviously, but I got to run to that headlight all the way over there, which I still have wire left over, but I'd rather cut it when I know what length I need it. So this is the shorter section of it that connector right there will go to the battery. Constant 12 volt. This right here will connect to the frame. And also I got this port down here, my foot is. That's gonna hook up inside of here under this good old tunnel I'm still kind of working on. Hopefully it slides right in place. So I was originally gonna go through into the frame right here, all that line. I did not think about how close the headers were up there. That's pretty close right there to the frame rail, so it might get too hot. And also I couldn't hardly get the wires to go through there, so I figured the easiest way to do it, which this looks like crap, I know it's pretty dirty, but everything in here is black pretty much. So if I can get that, I got this harness, I got it pulled through under there. I got it tucked in here, kind of under this breather line that goes to my catch can. But if I can tuck this up right here, kind of have it all tied together, and then have it kind of branch off right here, it shouldn't be too noticeable, I don't think. I think it would look better than having wires just draped over the fenders and crap right here, probably. We got it ran out there. I'm probably going to trim this piece up right here. This is what goes to the battery, the positive terminal of the battery. Trim that up, and I'll try to figure out what all these wires. Got this stuff inside here. And I got it ran, I mean, started right under there, but I got it ran to where it's going to go pretty much, so I have plenty of room to move it around. Got it laid in there. I haven't secured it yet. Probably gonna do it something like this right here. Tie it with some zip ties, kind of like I have these lines right here. I really don't want to mess with this. Wire, cut it, trim it, whatever I need to do. I don't really want to mess with that until I get the inner fenders built, because I have to build the inner fenders and I have to build a new battery tray right here. So I'm still trying to figure out where all this stuff's going to go. I took the little relay deal, took that out, probably put that under the seat just so I can have it easily turn the power off if I need to somewhere. But we'll keep this up front with the battery. I'm probably build new wires. These look like crap. I don't know what I was thinking about these, but do new wires in here, and then I'll probably run it somewhere under here where it's kind of hidden. But that's the plan right now anyway. So I had enough slack. I was able to cut the end off of this and just crimp a new piece on there, and then crimp a piece on this end, and then use the factory little piece right there that goes to the fuse box. So I got the LS stuff right here on this, and then I got this right here. I still got to attach it, do the rest of the harness with the seat, goes over to that driver's seat. That should work pretty good. I'm probably gonna go ahead and put the battery on there and just test to see what happens. I got the yellow wire hooked back up to the battery. Turn the key on, shouldn't do anything. Hit the switch right here. Everything comes on. I'm not sure why the radio's not coming on. I ain't that worried about it right now though. But alright, so that works. All the gauges are coming on. Oh yeah, the crank. So that's good. Almost that's my favorite way to do it. I mean, this should work fine though. I mean, I was kind of hoping I could use this kind of as storage maybe, but with all those wires and stuff in there, it's probably better if I don't. But I think that'd be just fine. I mean, there's not a whole lot of storage left anyway, even to use, so that'll be fine. Back on the good old wiring harness here. First thing I did was I took a picture of that plug. So this is the factory wiring. This is the wiring that I put on there. Got that. I had a chart so I could go off of it. Factory wiring, function, and the new wiring color. I make sure the left is passenger side. Left is driver's side, right is passenger side. And then those are the turn signal wires I need to put to each side. So the way I figured that out was got my good old wiring diagram. The left turn with all the wiring. Just make sure you're matching all the wiring up like you want it to be. The yellow wire, so it goes to the passenger side. I'm just gonna leave it over here. The rest of this stuff, I'm gonna have to drag behind the radiator and try to figure out where I'm gonna tie it in over here. So, probably leave a little bit of slack over here because I'm supposed to tie in all this stuff over here on this side to these wires somehow. I'm probably just gonna solder them in. Looking at it now, I might be better off soldering those in first, honestly. If I solder those in, I can slide heat shrink over these wires, have that heat shrink, and then I can tie those in later on. So that might do that. That's probably the best thing to do, probably. Just do that right there. So put these wires on first, get it fitted where it needs to be, and then do that. That's one of the best bet right there. Get some of these wires tied in right here. That's what I was saying. I slid the heat shrink up the wire, so then it would kind of slide on real easily, and it wouldn't be all, the wires wouldn't be all bowed up or anything crazy, all bent up, so be pretty smooth. And then all these wires right here will tuck back under there, and this other bundle will go on the radiator towards that way. So, yep, got all those wires tied in. I mean, obviously I'm gonna have to tape it up and make it look better than this right here, but the tie-ins are done. That's the main thing I was worried about doing, really, especially before the show. I'd rather have turn signals when I'm driving to town and stuff. So we can try to move this wiring around the other side. Got the battery rigged halfway up, so I'm gonna make sure the headlights and stuff work. So it's got all the new wires and stuff on there. I'll set it on the tripod and get everything on. Well, I was gonna put it on the tripod, but as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room right here, so I can even get both sides of the headlights. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn on up here, and then I'll walk around it. Get the power switch back on. All right, power's already on. Cool. All right, there's that. So I'll turn the headlights on. That just sounds rough, doesn't it? I've had these LED bulbs since like 2015 though, so I made some replacements. But either way, we got headlights, so that's good. That sucker sounds awful. I don't need that shit anyway. I got a problem with the turn signals though. I think it's something to do with the back. I think they light up, so they have power going to them, but oh, they don't. That's about as far as we're gonna get on this video. I still gotta figure out the turn signals, which I think has something to do with the connector on the bed being cut off for the taillights. Taillights aren't in or anything, so that's probably, I gotta fix that before I can do anything else with the turn signals probably, but still gotta finish up this right here too. This is that cover for the PCM. I gotta clean a couple more holes up. I might fill that hole up right there with some weld, and then sand it down and paint it. But I'll say that in a different video. I'll probably just toss it in, and maybe you'll see it as I pass over or something. But I got the floor painted pretty good, got it all cleaned up. So we'll be able to put that passenger side seat in pretty soon and be done with that hopefully. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for commenting and stuff. Would y'all please hit that subscribe button? I looked at my analytics and hardly anybody subscribes that watches the video, so that would help me out a ton if y'all could do that. Thank y'all for watching. See you on the next one.